Crazy.
Met Mr. Epstein in 1991. My I'd never heard of him or met him before, and no one in my family had ever either. My father never knew him, and I'll explain why that is the case.
Where did you meet him?
I had a girlfriend who I was, yeah, I moved to America briefly I'd moved to America in 1990.
Okay.
Moved is a good word. I'd come to visit America in 1990. I had been running my own company up until that time, which was a company called Maxwell Corporate Gifts. And I had also been working for my father at the time. I've had multiple...
Right, so I want to ask you that, okay, because the Department of Justice issued that memo earlier this month, right? It's at the core of a lot of this that reads in part, and I quote, Mark, after a thorough investigation, FBI investigators concluded that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide in his cell. Now, you say you were the one called to identify his body. You had conversations at that time.
Triggers.
And you do not accept this finding.
No, I don't, because what they don't mention in the report, and no one says, is that, after Jeffrey died, the next day I had to go to, number one, to identify his body, because I'm the next of kin, there's only heir. And they did the autopsy then. And Dr. Roman, who was the city pathologist, it was her autopsy. And Dr. Bondman was there on my behalf because I had the right to have, the family has the right to have their own pathologist there. And they did the autopsy, and they came out of the autopsy a couple hours later, and they both concurred that they could not call this a suicide because it looked too much like a homicide. They're very clear about that.
A former attorney general who served under George Bush is testifying about the controversy of the Epstein ordeal at the White House, at the House Oversight Committee on Tuesday. So Alberto Gonzalez led the Department of Justice discussion with Florida federal prosecutors with results in the Epstein. So what to know? Gonzalez is the second witness called to the bipartisan House. Last week, U.S. former Governor General William Barr sat for a closed-door disposition before the committee. Okay, and then there's some stuff that's going on right now. Like, what time is it? 11:30? Let me see if they got that. They're saying that certain people is being called in. It says the House Oversight Committee has subpoenaed 10 high-profile former officials as part of its expanded